Welcome to the Wholesome Music Podcast.
The DIY podcast?
About DIY music. This is our second time doing this intro because there's so much we wanted to get to.
There is.
And we didn't get to it all the first time. So we're doing it again. Okay, so my name is Augustus Watkins. My pronouns are he, they, or she. I am a musician, a songwriter, a podcaster, apparently.
Yeah.
I co-own a music and record label services company called Cocaine Opera and an indie record label company called Give Take.
My name's Cam LJ. You're here with us at Secret Spot DTLA. We're downtown Los Angeles' co-working space for creatives. I'm a songwriter, producer, engineer, do a bunch of other things, multi-hyphenated. My pronouns are he, they, or she, but I'll take really anything that you want to call me.
So first we're talking about Bandcamp. And we're talking about how the way Bandcamp bans AI.
Yes, we are.
This is this is big news. You probably heard it. This is like our favorite discussion, right?
Bandcamp's a staple for us.
Yeah, we love it.
Friend of the pod, Bandcamp.
Yeah, very much so. Next, an interesting pilot program from Universal Music Group. They're launching, it's called Sound Generation. It's an education pilot that they're launching in the UK and planning to go international with.
Yes.
We had some crystal ball prognostications.
Yes, we did. We had a good time.
Yeah.
Kind of decoding our techno-feudalist future.
Yeah. Is this like a good thing, or is this like another like
bad thing?
Yeah, another notch in our like coming
AI doom belt.
AI doom belt. Yeah, and then finally, a handful of nonprofits are
coming together,
and they're coming together with Fender to produce a custom instrument made with wood that was impacted from trees that were impacted by the Eaton fire.
That's right.
Here in LA.
Just super cool project. I think, like another silver lining in what's been kind of a gray year.
Yeah.
So like nice to see something good come out of something bad.
Yeah. And if you are, flush with a little extra cash, you want to bid on one of those, you can listen. We'll give you the details on that.
If you're listening when the episode drops, it comes out, should be available for you to go hit the link right now.
Yeah.
Check it out. If you want to bid on your own custom Fender Eaton guitar, do it.
And then you can come here for a session.
A good cause.
I'll tell you what, I'll if you buy one of those, I'll sponsor your session here and you can record it here. I'll do that for you.
I like that.
Finally, we have our third ever Take It or Leave It advice.
We do.
And I wanted to just say like why we put Take It or Leave It at the end. Two reasons. As we mentioned, one is because this is advice that doesn't always fit nicely into a 15-minute segment.
Yes.
But it's such good advice. Last week, the thing that you said about your signal chain, last week, your Take It or Leave It was about your typical, not like the signal chain we just discussed
not
here.
For podcasting.
But your typical recording signal chain. And it was such good, helpful, useful advice as you're thinking about how to set up your signal chain.
Of course.
It's not something you could spend 15 minutes talking about.
Yeah, it's tough to squeeze a whole segment out of that, but it's a good usable advice.
Yeah, and in many ways, it's like the most useful thing you'll ever hear on this podcast.
Yeah, maybe so.
And so the reason why we put that at the end is because it's really good for our algorithmic engagement.
Yes.
And I just think it's like we're trying to like be really like DIY about this, kind of let you in on why we're doing that. Mm-hmm. The reason why we do that is because it hopefully it's a bit of an incentive for you to stick around to the end.
Yes, so stay to the end to get this week's Take It or Leave It advice.
And I think now we should also mention that this is
episode number 30.
Can you believe we have been doing this for 30 years?
30 years. We look so good.
We do look.
We look so good.
Really good. Yeah, we are. We when we started this, YouTube didn't exist.
No, it was analog tapes.
Yep, podcasts didn't
reel
exist.
to reel.
Yeah, we were splicing tape, putting it together. With like the camcorder that you put on your shoulder.
You got to hold it up.
Yeah. And look at us now. 30 years later, we're still doing a
young and fresh. What can we say? Give you AI takes all day.
Yeah. People don't know this, but we were actually the very first podcast about music.
The Podfathers.
We are your musical Podfathers. Y'all didn't know that. Don't think too hard about how that math works.
No.
Just trust us.
It's music math.
Yeah. It's wholesome music math. Reason why we're doing this, so let's just kick off. It's not a big deal, but I like to give people a little bit of like insight into how we do things. Mm-hmm. Because we're growing in front of you just the same way that you're growing in front of your fans.
Yes.
And so this is just a little bit of nerd, but I like talk about the signal chain thing that you did.
Yeah. So for a long time when we were recording this, A lot of
he engineers it.
When we're recording this, we actually have playback in the room, so we can hear ourselves because we're not doing this with cans. We're not having like headphones on, and you can see when we're recording. So we're hearing everything live played back.
Yep.
And I was using like I'm sure you're familiar with Waves plugins. They have a plugin called NS1. It's a noise suppressor. It's a great noise suppressor. It's really like nice, very simple, just one knob.
Yeah.
Remove, you set a certain decibel. Essentially works like a smart gate, like a super smart gate. And it does kind of do some of the machine learning that we were talking about.
We'll get into.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But it does use a little bit of that, like it's not really AI, but it's kind of machine learning to kind of adjust exactly where it is and create like a nice gate for you. But what I didn't realize was that it was actually changing like how the sounded, like how everything sounded. It was really imparting, like just kind of cutting out a lot of the low mids and a lot of like the liveliness from the mic, like a lot of like the actual character that we're getting from these dynamic mics is just getting flattened out. And so I took it out just to be like, all right, well, let me see what it sounds like without it, because I started doing a lot of my like noise suppression in post. I started doing it afterwards.
At the end of your signal chain, instead of at the beginning.
Instead of recording with it, I'll go in and then add it afterwards, after we've recorded, and then use a new program called RX. It's an isotope product. It's amazing. It's called Dialogue Isolate and does a really, really good job of just cleanly isolating everything and giving us a little bit more control. So hopefully when you're listening to the episode this week and then the weeks moving forward, it sounds a little clearer, sounds a little cleaner, sounds a little crisper for you.
And then of course, if you're listening on social media, you won't know if I'm clipping this, I don't know if this happens to make a clip on, or as you hear clips later on TikTok and Instagram, you won't hear the difference.
No,
because those get compressed to shit.
They're getting limited,
and then I limit them when I edit those. So,
but hopefully, if you're listening as a podcaster here on YouTube, you can hear a little fidelity difference. Hopefully, it didn't sound too bad before. It just sounds better now.
Is that everything now that we've done this second round 2?
I think it is.
Okay, we have done everything we need to do for our intro. Thank you for joining us as always, and let's get into it. Bandcamp.
Yes.
So this is like a nexus of conversations for us.
This is everything coming together.
It really is, because of course, like I feel like the couple of things we talked besides Spotify, I think the two things
we've talked about a lot, and AI, of course.
Well, this involves AI.
It does.
This is like, besides Spotify, this is the other two things that we're just constantly talking about, right?
Bandcamp, Spotify,
and AI.
That's right.
So here we are. This is exciting. I feel like if you are anywhere near the musical internet, you may have seen this.
Yes.
Bandcamp has banned AI.
That's so fucking exciting.
Yeah.
That's like, it's almost surprising it didn't happen sooner.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like, that seems like something like, I mean, it's still fairly new. Like, it's not like we're talking about we're 10 years into the age of AI, Yeah. Like, this is still fairly retroactive, fairly quick. Yeah. But it's just really exciting to see.
So I wanted to read just a few pieces from their press release. We believe that the human connection found through music is a vital part of our society and culture, and that music is much more than a product to be consumed. It's the result of a human cultural dialogue stretching back before the written word. Similarly, musicians are more than mere producers of sound. They are vital members of our communities, our culture, and our social fabric. Bandcamp was built to directly connect artists and their fans, and to make it easy for fans to support artists equitably so that they can keep making music. I'll stop there, and then we'll talk about what their guidelines are. But like, I just think they did such a nice job of really clearly laying out the dividing line between musicians and AI.
I think that's really interesting, especially right now with Suno too. They're trying to do the whole like, have you seen the most recent Suno campaign where they're like, everybody loves making music, but learning to make music is so hard. How many hours have you spent learning to make music instead of just making it? And I think we're at this dividing point, like you're saying, where music is being gamified or made easier and easier and easier to the point that you're kind of losing the craft of musicianship.
Oh, yeah.
So like the actual act of like learning an instrument, learning your voice, learning to read music, like all of these things are kind of getting like shortcutted.
Yeah.
And in some ways that's great, like that's awesome. It's making music more accessible for everybody. Like, even if you just think, I thought of a melody. Let me just hum into my microphone and then that'll turn it into a song for me. So that's great from a good, the the pro takeaway is like more people are able to make music.
Yeah.
The con to me is it's like lowering that barrier to the point that it's lowering like the level of musicianship and interaction that people are having in making music.
I think you said it really well. It's the difference between the craft and what AI does it's more of a, I actually kind of think of it more like social media, where it's actually a slot machine.
Yeah.
Where you pull the lever and you're going to get a dopamine hit if you like it. And if
Yes.
not, you'll pull the lever again.
That's exactly right.
Right?
Yeah. Like generate. Ooh, I like that. Oh,
Yeah.
generate again.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't like that one. I'll wait. I'll get the next one. And like that's just like scrolling and waiting for that next dopamine
Just
hit.
the TikTok. Ooh, this is funny. Okay, next one.
Yeah.
That one's good.
So I think that's really like, I don't know. You got to really appreciate a company as big as Bandcamp, just like drawing the line here.
Yeah.
So to continue, they say our guidelines for generative AI in music and audio are as follows. Music and audio that is generated wholly or in substantial part by AI is not permitted on Bandcamp. Any use of AI tools to impersonate other artists or styles is strictly prohibited in accordance with our existing policies prohibiting impersonation and intellectual property management. They go on to say, please use our reporting tools to flag the content for review for our team if you suspect that you've come across AI-generated music. We reserve the right to remove any music on suspicion of being AI-generated.
So this does open up like a really interesting like a point of discussion here, which is when is something made with AI? Like at what point is your like what if you made your instrumental with AI, but you wrote the lyrics and sang on it, recorded that on top of like your vocals? Like instead of going to BeatStars, you were like, yeah, I'm gonna have Suno generate me a beat and I'm gonna make a song to the beat. Is that an AI song?
So the word that Bandcamp uses is substantial. Would you call that a substantial part?
I would say compositionally, yeah.
I would
Like
too.
that seems like it's like that does seem that's the song.
Yeah.
That's the song. Like
Yeah.
like that seems substantial.
Yeah.
That being said, it isn't, you're not necessarily impersonating somebody else.
No.
You're not necessarily like changing your voice using AI. So maybe it could fly.
Well, I would say based on how I read this, I would say no.
Yeah.
And if I came across something, I don't know. It's like if I'm not a narc, but I think if I came across something that was like super clearly that I don't know that I could tell.
Yeah.
If somehow I could tell that something was AI generated, I'd fucking report it.
Yeah, absolutely. So like some part of this is going to be like human based. Like we need to report the songs that are AI.
Yeah.
But some part of it needs to be like Bandcamp has an algorithm that is like content IDing AI music.
And of course, there's like, as I've said many times, Bandcamp is so half-assed.
Yeah.
They'll fucking never do that. They just won't. Like Bandcamp, prove me wrong, but like everything you do is so half-assed.
There's something really, really interesting here that I still like, I want to dive deeper into with this, which is like, okay, so I want to talk about video, like AI in video, so we can go back to music, but just kind of using this as an analogy. Let's say you're like, you and I are doing a video and then like we like this video and then we like use AI to put the logo here.
Yeah.
Is that now an AI video? Because the logo wasn't here. It didn't exist there. Where is that line?
Yeah.
And should that should still, I feel like that should be labeled. Like even if you're in, like, let's say you're in Photoshop, because I do a lot of like image processing.
Yeah.
And you can do like AI background remover. Click, cool, subject select. Now I'm not having to go around each individual part of you.
Right.
And now I just have all of my subjects and my background selected.
Yeah.
And I can replace however I want.
Yeah.
Is that AI or is that image manipulation?
Okay, it's funny because then the analog to this might be something like stem separator.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely. Which is AI.
Well, and so it's interesting because before we got to this current generation of LLMs and AI and open AI and that kind of thing, there were these,
Machine learning,
which is what we used to call it, which is what we used to call it.
Yeah, that's what it used to
before
be.
it got a big rebrand.
Before the AI buzzword.
And I'm thinking back to like, and really it's only like 4 or 5 years ago, but like the kind of things that were for machine learning, like we talked in the intro about noise suppression.
Yeah, like,
that was machine learning.
Yeah, like something like Soothe 2, something like any kind of like Goldfoss EQ, anything that's like a multi-band equalizer or like noise suppressor, anything like that that's choosing for you and is finding those resonant frequencies and automatically changing throughout your song.
Yeah,
that's machine learning.
That's machine learning. Or like you know, when you're on TikTok and you'll see how somebody just automatically removes or you're on Zoom, same thing, and then automatically like blurs the background around your head.
Yep.
That's machine learning.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the OG Snapchat filters. You remember those? Put the little glasses on your face.
Yeah, machine learning. Like we would call that now AI, and I'm not savvy enough, and if you are, you could leave a comment to tell us if there is a difference between like that old school machine learning and what the LLMs are doing now. I imagine there is some kind of difference.
I imagine it's based on how much training data. That would be like my guess.
Yeah, and I would guess that it's like a different type of training, but
maybe different foundational models.
Yeah,
and then like more training data with the new ones, where the old ones were like maybe like different, like simpler models.
Yeah, a different type of algorithm, but it's still an algorithm. Or like another one that comes to mind is when like you can point your phone at something and it can identify what kind of flower it is.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, absolutely. I have one of those. Like there's an app called Plantain, which is terrible. Don't get it. Okay. Bad app. But you know, it claims you point your phone at the plant and it tells you why it's unhappy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it doesn't.
Yeah.
Just spoiler. Spoiler, it doesn't work.
So these are the kind of applications of machine learning. And like, if you had used like going back to music now, if you had gone and done like a stem separator to like say like, we had someone here at Open Mic who was like, yo, I need to recreate this song.
Yes.
Stems.
Absolutely.
And we were kind of talking about maybe you could use a stem separator.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's say that they did that. And so it was their track.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, I want, for whatever reason. And so they got the drums out, they got the bass out, they got the guitar, they got the vocals, and then they remixed it or did whatever they're going to do.
Absolutely.
Right? Maybe took the vocals and then like reworked the background track in a different style.
Yeah.
For instance, right? Now, so like technically, they're like that process would have been impossible to have done without LLM.
Yeah.
Which we now call AI.
Absolutely.
I should have said without machine learning. Sorry.
Yeah, which we now call AI.
Yeah. Which we now kind of conflate with AI, even though I do think there's a difference. And if you know, you should leave a comment. So therefore, like, I think technically I wouldn't argue that that's substantial. Yeah. Although I would say that like, technically that would have been unable to have been done without that machine learning.
Yeah.
Therefore, that's kind of substantial.
So I don't know. It does raise this like interesting question of like, where is the line? How are we going to define this moving forward? And I think court cases that we run into as we get further and further down the road will help us figure out exactly where that line stands.
Yep.
Like, just like with like when we were talking about like how much of a melody can we borrow?
Sure.
I think we'll get more and more clarity about what's too much as we get further and further down this road.
Some 90-year-old judge is going to have to like parse through what the meaning of the word substantial is in order for all of this to get figured out. But that's the system. That's what we have.
I think, this is kind of an optimistic thing to say here. Mm-hmm. I think this is our AI boom time, right?
Right.
That's why we're getting the Xania Monets. That's why we're getting the Tata Talk to Me. We got to push all the way to the edge of the boundary to where it's too much to find out, okay, maybe we don't do all AI face, AI person, AI music, AI beat. Yeah. Maybe there's ways that we can do this in ways that are not as gross.
Yeah, maybe there are. And like that will be an interesting discussion. Like, there's a really interesting article in The Guardian about like what are we going to do, which I'll put a link to. I wasn't prepared for this, but what are we going to do about like post bubble?
Post AI pop?
Yeah. And so I'm looking for this here. I'll put a link in because I don't have it handy. But it's by the person who I can't remember his name, but the person who came up with the concept of enshittification.
Yeah.
that's the author of this thing. And so it's a fascinating article. And he had some kind of ideas about like post bubble burst.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? So I will put a link to that in the comments or in the description for people to kind of think about.
To dive into it, get a little deeper into this.
Yeah. I think what'll be really, really like what I would like to see.
Yeah.
Is I don't think Bandcamp could do this, but I would love to see them take it a step further and say no AI artwork and no AI videos.
Yeah.
But that'll never happen.
That'll be. I think it'll incremental, right? We got to go step by step because I think just having them make this step is so exciting.
This is huge,
and I think we will see more labeling. I think we have to see more labeling of like things that were generated with AI, whether it's your album cover, whether it's the music, whether it's like any part of your production, I think should be labeled as like this was created with AI.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like top to bottom created with AI.
If it's just generated on
Yeah, if it's just slop that you're like dropping out, you should label it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we've covered in past episodes. If for those of you who are keeping up with us, you'll know we've talked about some initiatives in the past.
Yes,
I think people are trying to figure this out, and I completely agree with you.
Yeah, it's got to happen.
Yeah,
it's like a matter of time.
Totally. So is that what we need to say about this?
Yeah, I love Bandcamp.
Shout out to Bandcamp for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another win on the Bandcamp books.
We love to see it. We're going to come back and talk about music education. Okay, Universal Music Group launches Sound Generation Education Pilot in the UK. This is by Raffaella Fortinini for Music Business Worldwide. That's a new name for Music Business Worldwide.
It is.
I like that. They might
new collaborator
are they
for
hiring?
us.
That's nice. Universal Music Group has announced the launch of Sound Generation in its new music education initiative designed to expand access to music education for young people around the world. The program will debut via a UK pilot before rolling out internationally later this year. It will provide free digital resources to support teachers and students through creativity, collaboration, and curriculum-based activity, and aims to address declining participation in music education, particularly among younger students and schools with limited resources. First things first, often when they say international, sometimes they mean like everywhere except the US.
Yeah.
Do you think this will come to the US?
Potentially. I mean, not to get like super political right away, but with our like Department of Education, maybe not right away.
Yeah.
But considering this is a free resource
and it's private,
maybe this is something that will be provided to schools.
Yeah.
I don't foresee it being here in the next pre-2028 cycle.
No,
but it could be.
It could be because you said it's because it's something that the government wouldn't have to fund.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah,
it's just provided.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something we can get access to. But so far, I think it's specifically aimed at the UK and like global markets outside of the US.
Yeah, which is often the case. When they say international, a lot of times they mean everywhere except the US.
Everywhere but here.
Yeah.
And probably not Canada either.
Yeah. It's usually like everywhere except the US and China.
Yep.
Built in collaboration with Camden Music Service, part of Camden Learning, a school-led partnership between borough schools and the local authority, the initiative draws directly on the success of the Feversham Primary Academy in Bradford. Feversham, maybe it's Feversham, was placed among the global top 10 in the world's best school prizes in 2023 for its music-led curriculum.
So what I took away from that is like the like resources they're giving away are really like derived from this already existing music school program.
Yep.
So it's not like providing you like, hey, here's some Hal Leonard sheets, go crazy. It's like, hey, this is a system. This is like a curriculum that's been taught, that's been awarded, that people like, that worked really well.
Recognize this doing something that works.
Yeah. And is hopefully engaging kids in music.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to like make this more accessible to a lot of people.
You know, I'll get a lot of the details wrong, but one of the reasons why the UK has been kind of historically, in the 20th century, historically produced so much good music is because they have, in the past, invested really heavily in their public public school music programs.
Yeah, which we haven't.
Well, and now they haven't. Now that's kind of gone for them too.
Yeah.
So this is, to the extent that I understand UK politics, this is filling a need that that they have as well.
Yeah. I think, there was a time period, at least like when you and I were growing up and a little bit like before that too, I think there were way more comprehensive music programs.
Yeah.
Music, art, even things like home ec, those kind of things
Right.
existed in public school education in like a really, really pivotal way. And I think now when we talk about, the death of the music industry is dead, it's over. I think part of what this is getting at is part of the reason people aren't driven to like make music. Sure, one part of that is financial, right? Mm-hmm. One part is like the amount of money you're going to make in the music industry isn't quite as exponential as it was pre-2000. But like another piece of that is I just don't think people are getting indoctrinated into music. I don't think people are having that like elementary school band experience.
Sure.
That like maybe you have to play the recorder, but it probably stops there. And like, when I was young, because I went through all of the music school experiences, like that was such an integral part. And it was such an integral part to me even before I played, because I watched my sister play in school bands. I watched our band go off and like win state for marching band, and seeing these like big, I grew up in a really small town. So it was a big part of the community, the band.
That's amazing when because I also grew up in small towns and like no one gave a shit if it wasn't the boys basketball or the boys football team.
Yes,
they didn't give a fuck.
Well, we had really bad sports teams, and like we won state as a marching band 7 years in a row.
Okay,
so like really good marching band, really bad sports.
That is like the inverse of most people's
I know, it's crazy
rural experience.
But I feel like that's how you end up here, that's how you end up doing this.
You would have been a soccer goalie.
They tried. They did. They were like, you should do wrestling, and then they were like, you should do basketball, and then I scored for the other team, and they're like, you shouldn't. You shouldn't do that.
Stick to your little trumpet.
Yeah, you do the music stuff. Thumbs up, kid.
So we were talking a little bit earlier. You have an interesting kind of crystal ball take on this initiative. What was that?
I do. So I think this is a really interesting thing to see, like UMG investing specifically in like the future of music through education.
Globally.
Globally. And I think it could lead to something like what I see, my kind of crystal ball prediction is that like maybe we see a future where there's like, instead of going to like a private university like Full Sail University or like Berklee College of Music or any other private music university or Juilliard or whatever else school you want to name, you would go to something like a Live Nation Institute, Live Nation Venue Training Institute, where they train you how to work in one of their venues. You get experience, and then you get pipelined right into a venue from there. So maybe you spend 6 months to a year under learning in the Live Nation, venue training department. Maybe you can go do like a stint at the Ticketmaster offices. And then you move into like, okay, cool, I'm working at this venue now. Or in this case, maybe it's something like Universal Music Group providing an entire, like maybe you still go to Juilliard, but you go to Juilliard's like UMG specific program where they provide all of.
And like, does that, because my crystal ball thing was like, was basically that, but dystopian, which is like, to me, like that vision is also quite dystopian.
Yeah.
Because you're like that really would, that is like cyber future 101, where
it's like very corporate.
Yeah. Corporations just control
everything.
Yeah. And it's like, why for me, I was like, I was really torn by this, because on one hand, I'm like, we kind of covered it, like it's so great that kids are getting an opportunity to do this.
Yes.
And like, if the government can't step up because billionaires aren't going to have enough, you can't satisfy the need for the greed of billionaires.
Yeah.
So it's like, somehow we've got to like figure out a way for kids to get music education.
Yes.
Here it is.
Here's one way.
Yep. And so I applaud it to the extent that I'm able to applaud any kind of public-private partnership with my worldview. But on the other hand, I see that scenario as a real possibility, as the kind of thing that comes out of this, and it kind of scares me. And because even if we don't take it that far,
yeah,
it's still like, what to what extent is UMG Universal Music Group now going to tailor the music education to fit their requirements? I mean, to fit their worldview, right? Like they sign a big AI thing, right? Like let's just another hypothetical crystal ball thing. You know, they buy Spotify, or, they're already in partnership with Spotify, and now they're in partnership with Suno. And so like we have this really like commodified view of AI. Commodified view of music. And so like if you are now, if you grow up, if your music education is directed at that kind of mindset, that is so different from the kind of halcyon, if we can say that, music education that you and I were discussing, that you and I had growing up, where it was like
here's peer-to-peer.
Here's the joy of music, and here's the place of discovery, and now it's like, well, here's the commodification of music and how you can be a cog in the wheel and we'll make billions.
I think I see both sides.
Yeah.
Because I think, one, this is very capitalist dystopian.
Yeah.
Right? Like, to go to Spotify University, to go to, like that's to go to Apple Music University. That would kind of suck and be like the peak of this capitalist dystopia that we're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
But in this track that if we just kind of extrapolate that out, I do think, this could solve, and I'm not saying this is what we should do, but I do think the music industry has had for a long time job placement issue. Really long time.
You're
you go
right.
to music school, there's no real track for you. Great, you have a bachelor's in music business, bachelor's in whatever, like music technology, don't care. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go work?
Yeah, no, you are completely right on that.
I think this could at least provide a pathway for those jobs, and maybe, this, of course, I'm making it the utopian version, right?
Yeah.
In the best case scenario, it would make those programs maybe more limited. Maybe we could look at examples of things like what K-pop is doing and what Korean like icons, or like however you want to say it, idol schools work. But maybe if there are this many jobs, we only accept this many people, and then these roles, I mean, they already do have this kind of like gatekeeper like prestige around it. But much like getting into like Juilliard, or getting into a Berkeley or an Eastman School of Music, those are very competitive. There's only very few slots.
Yeah.
And I think this could be something similar in the future, like maybe a decade or two down the line, where you go to UMG school, go to Warner, whatever it is,
or at least like, and this is common in college. Situations like this are common in colleges all the time, where it's like somebody donates a bunch of money, they build a big wing, and there's like the faculty has close ties with the private industry, and like under the right circumstances, we typically kind of like applaud that. Yeah,
like as an apprenticeship.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like, or just even like, like how many people like come from Harvard and go straight into like there's like a Harvard Goldman Sachs kind of pipeline,
with
right?
These pipelines, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like, maybe there's a world in which the music industry could have a little bit more like
Juilliard, New York Symphony,
more straightforward kind of pipeline, where there's like vocational training that like might tie you to, because there are jobs in the music industry.
Yes, there are.
And assuming we could sort of like solve the like the music industry, like the money problem, which like
that's the elephant in the room.
But like that's so much like that's connected to so many other problems. That's like so like late stage capitalism.
And it isn't necessarily indicative to music. Like it isn't like, oh, music is inherently fucked and like it's over. It's more like capitalism.
It's all fucked.
Yeah, capitalism is inherently fucked. We can move away from that. We can kind of rebuild this like music industry community.
Yeah, or get better regulation and things could work out a little bit.
Yeah, people could get paid a little bit more.
Yeah.
What?
So, this is, let's just continue on this article. Developed to deliver the diverse range of skills needed across music creation, the set of digital resources was designed to be easily integrated into primary school lessons, whether delivered by a music teacher with extensive experience or someone at the start of their career. These resources have been created by music teachers for all teachers, ensuring that they are practical, engaging, and grounded in classroom experience. UMG expects to release further detail on national and international expansion in the next months.
That's really, really exciting.
Really interesting. Yeah.
I think, like this, like we said, this is a small step. This isn't all the way into our like techno feudalist overlord future.
Yeah.
But it is, it's showing us one shout out to UMG for doing something.
For giving a shit.
Yeah, for trying.
Yeah.
And like hopefully this just as an idea gives us like grounding, gives us a new base of young musicians who learn to create together.
If nothing else, it's just like it'll improve the quality of music that gets put out in 15, 20 years.
And keep people interested in it.
Yeah.
Like if people don't, you think about things like sewing, that's becomes such an industry specific thing because when did you learn to sew?
Right.
Like, who taught you to? No one.
Yeah.
So it kind of died. Like that as an art form of you sewing or fixing or mending your clothes, gone.
Yeah.
Mostly because we just don't teach it to our kids.
Well, and
if you do, it's probably going to be more expensive.
the clothes aren't manufactured to even be mended. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's one of those skills, I think, kind of like this, that if you don't educate for, you definitely don't get more of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, I think this is a pretty exciting thing. We'll see. I'll be curious to see how this develops.
Yeah, I will too. I want to see like over the next time period how this plays out.
So here's a little piece of kind of just a cool little piece of news.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Little tidbit.
Yeah, if you've got a little bit of money to throw around, maybe this will interest you even more. Fender is turning fire-damaged trees into custom guitars to help rebuild Altadena after the Eaton fire. Here's how, by Sarah Nash for Secret Los Angeles. So, as we know, of course, the Eaton fire was the fire that affected like Altadena and East LA, right?
Yeah, the Great Los Angeles Fires.
So this was
Last year,
literally January of 20.
like a year ago.
Yeah.
Like 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Like 1 year ago, I came back and I was like sweeping ash off of the whole, because there was like ash this thick, like out there, and we were just sweeping the ash that had rained down, like fucking snow, but it wasn't snow.
Yep.
It was ash from the fucking fires.
I remember you could see like and we talked about this we did some podcast episodes about this, right? No, we wouldn't.
No, it was a little bit. It was before we started. It was before we started the show,
right? Because this is episode 30.
Yeah.
So you could I remember like driving on the 10 and looking to my right and seeing this gash, this massive fire, just up the mountain. Pretty wild stuff.
I remember, so because I'm in Koreatown and here in downtown, I wasn't in like West Hollywood or anywhere where the fire was, but my roommate Jay, she was at work and she could see the fire, so she was managing her team there, and they could see the fire come up over the hill. And they were like, "Hey, can we go?" And she was like, "Yeah, we're all leaving now.
Yeah.
Everyone's going home." And she called me from work and was like, "Do you think our house will be safe?" And I'm like, "Yeah, friend, we're gonna be good.
Yeah.
We're in Koreatown." And I just remember it was a lot. There was a lot. It was a big moment.
Yeah.
And a lot of I think it was the largest natural disaster.
Right.
And so I think that's so many people were displaced. So many homes are gone. Neighborhoods that were there are gone. And
I lost my job because of it.
Yeah. Like the impact was huge.
Yeah.
It's because in this time everything's unprecedented. Everything is like, oh, it's the worst ever.
Yeah.
But it's
The worst day ever so far.
until tomorrow.
Yeah.
But this was a big event, and I do think it's really beautiful to see Fender come in and try to like make some lemonade out of the lemons here.
So, music, and this is from the article now, music and community are colliding in a powerful way in Los Angeles. That's some good writing.
Yeah, it is.
And this time, the instruments themselves are part of the recovery. San Gabriel Valley Habitat for Humanity has teamed up with Fender Custom Shop, and nonprofit impact platform Plus One to transform wood salvaged from trees damaged in the Eaton fire into a series of limited edition guitars. 100% of auction proceeds going directly toward rebuilding homes and supporting families impacted by the 2025 fires. 4 custom guitars are being crafted from reclaimed Altadena fire wood. Excuse me. The material would have otherwise been mulched, but now gets a second life. The wood recovery effort is being led by Angel City Lumber, a local organization focused on salvaging and repurposing urban trees. Every dollar goes directly towards San Gabriel Valley Habitat for Humanity, helping fund 1, home rebuilding in wildfire-impacted neighborhoods; 2, housing stability programs for displaced families; 3, long-term community recovery efforts in the San Gabriel Valley; and the bidding began January 14th and ends February 4th.
Is that bidding so you could buy one of these guitars?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So right now, as you're watching this episode, you can literally go in the link below and bid on one of these Eaton Fire guitars right now.
Yeah, as long as you're watching before February 4th, 2026.
Yeah.
So the current bid is $3,000. I imagine that will go up.
That's not bad. That's kind of like buying like something from the Fender custom shop, like something that Fender American made is going to be in that price range.
The estimated fair market value, according to this page, is $5,500. So
you're getting it for cheap.
Well, if that's the bid, I imagine this will go up and up, and I hope somebody.
Are they only making one?
They said they're making 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is going to go way up.
So I'm hoping this goes up to,
this is going to go way up.
30, 40, 50,000, $100,000.
Yeah.
Somebody's loaded. Some
guitar. It's going to be John Mayer. Someone like John Mayer is going to buy one of these and be like, yeah, this is next to my original Paul Reed Smith.
Yeah.
Like, this is next to my,
Yeah. Or like, Kathleen Kennedy is going to buy it, or,
I just thought it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's such a economic statement.
Yeah. Some Hollywood big shot will do it.
Honestly, man, I did have a property in Eaton myself. Like, I didn't live there, but I don't play guitar, but I do think this is a great cause.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even know how much we bid, but it was real. It's a great thing, and
I have the money.
I'm happy to be a part.
Yeah. So hopefully this makes some money. I mean, like, they're expecting this to fund home rebuilding, housing stability programs. So like, either they're just kind of saying like, this is what we do. So this, but like $3,000 isn't going to be much towards this. So I imagine they're expecting this to generate a few $100,000. I'd guess.
Yeah, at least I would hope so.
Yeah, I would too.
It's surprising to me that they're only going to do 4.
Yeah.
I would think there would be a market, especially for Fender, because it's not like Fender isn't like a small luthier, right?
Right.
Oh man, we only got the resources to make 4.
I've only heard,
but
well, maybe it might be that you know more about guitars than me, but it might be the case that it's just difficult to find the right kind of wood to have it come from the fire, but also be good enough to make into an instrument. It might be
I mean, are we aware of whether these are going to be like acoustic or electric guitars?
It doesn't say.
Because if they're electric guitars, it's really not. If they're acoustic,
it's a Telecaster. So
then electric. Then like you really need slaps.
Yeah,
slaps. You're not. I mean, maybe they're going to do something cool and like. I mean, you could book match them. There's so many different ways that you could make this work. Like maybe the limitation is the lumber.
That's what I mean.
Like maybe there's only this many trees that we're gonna impact.
That's what I like. That are like impacted but still appropriate. Because if it's too burned, you can't make a guitar from a burned ass tree.
I know, but you could imagine, you need this much, right? Mm-hmm. Like
hold your hand up because
you need like that much wood and about this wide.
Right.
So think 2 or 4
guitar body.
Yeah, exactly. Think about that much wood, and it doesn't have to be one whole sheet. Most of the time
aren't.
It's book matched. So you're gonna have 2 or 3 two halves, not 3 halves. You're gonna have 2 halves.
That's good math. That's wholesome music math.
Right there, that's musician math. No, you'll have 2 halves, match them together, and then you'll get your one composited body.
Yep.
And there are obviously a bunch of other things you could do too. There are fully milled out where you get one beautiful piece and mill it out, but and obviously that's how you're gonna get the best resonance. Is obviously that's the gold standard, but
who knows?
Yes, exactly.
This isn't clear. Maybe if you follow the link, which of course is in our subscription.
If you're a luthier and you know about this and you want to get in it, leave us a comment. Let us know about this because I'm curious.
Yeah, I really am too. There's actually more detail. Let's see. Thin natural satin urethane to highlight the deodar cedar's elegant grain patterns, and paired with a one-piece roasted 3A flame maple neck. It's an early 50s style telly. And then so it's all wired up. Finished with a custom engraved neck plate featuring We Are All Altadena artwork by Eric Junker, and includes a deluxe hardshell case, strap, and a certificate of authenticity. So follow the link, which I have, so you can see a picture. You can see here, it's like just natural
that's
wood.
Beautiful.
It's really nice.
Yeah, those are gorgeous. Those are going to sell.
Yeah, so maybe get together with a couple of your buds.
Yeah.
Come up with $450K and
And make a bid.
one of these. So just like, this is cool. This is like, we talk about a lot of doom and gloom, and so whenever I've said this before, but whenever something nice happens,
This is something beautiful.
Yeah.
A little uplift at the end. I love that.
Nice to share this before we wrap up. So I think that's all we have to say about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like last thought on the Fender thing is, I think Fender was in a little bit of trouble for a while, like right before the pandemic. It was looking like, kind of bleak for them.
Yeah.
And so it's good to see them come out and do something, show themselves again, come out and just see them out operating, doing something, putting their name in the hat.
Good to see you out there, Fender. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Fender. That's nice. So definitely follow this and check this out. If nothing else, just it sounds interesting.
It does.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get to do a session. Maybe they'll come. Maybe they'll bid and they'll come do a session here.
Maybe Secret Spot DTLA. We'll just have to put in a good bid and get one of these Eaton guitars for ourselves.
It'd be a nice house guitar.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So before we leave you with this week's Take It or Leave It advice, which is from me, we just want to say thank you for joining us.
Yes.
This has been another episode of the Wholesome Music Podcast.
It has.
This is the DIY podcast about DIY music. We're out here every single week doing this. If you've enjoyed this discussion, what do you want them to do?
You should leave a like, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on YouTube, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or any other podcast platform, leave us 5 stars.
So I'm going to go to our stats real quick, and this is the name of a podcast app that I've never heard of before. This is my other podcast. This is the new podcast app that people are coming in on. It's called iVoox. iVoox. So if you're an iVoox listener,
shout out iVoox.
Shout out iVoox.
If you're listening on iVoox, shout out. Give us 5 stars on iVoox.
Thank you to our listeners. We have a lot of new listeners in Germany, the Philippines, Singapore, Finland. So thank you for joining us.
Shout out the Philippines. Super awesome music scene out there.
Yeah. So that's really cool. And follow us on our socials. We're on TikTok and
check out the shorts. If you don't get all the way through this and you want an amazing recap every week, go over to Instagram Reels or TikTok and check us out there.
Plus, I share a lot of stories throughout the week about kind of music. It's stuff we cover.
It's not just recaps. There's also new information.
Yeah, it's just kind of music. It's just like a good repository for music industry news and good wholesome music industry shit.
Yes.
So I think that's what we need to say.
I think so.
Let's close out with our Take It or Leave It advice.
What do you have for us this week?
So our Take It or Leave It advice, of course, is just something where we're going to give you a small piece of advice that you are free to
take it or
leave it. We switch off every single week. This is mine for this week. I just want to leave you with this. These are really perilous times. Last week was a really heavy episode. I honestly, you mentioned we only clip. I couldn't even clip the episode last week because it was too emotional for me. So because we talked about Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And so in these times, it's really easy to get stuck on your phone, sucked into the doom scroll.
Yes.
And I know, like, I have been doom scrolling hard.
I can't relate.
And so what I want to just encourage all, this is as much for me as it is for anybody else. The work that you do requires you to have a certain level of emotional valence. Yeah. And if you are destabilized, that really works in the best interest of the fascists who really do want us to be, destabilized and hysterical. Yeah. Right. So not only does getting offline and taking a moment to center yourself actually sort of help in the fight, it also is just good for you, right?
It is.
It doesn't mean you care any less, which I think is something that we all need to hear. You don't have to scroll and like every post and share every single thing.
Unless it's from us.
Right. But you don't,
No,
right?
you don't.
And it doesn't mean you care any less. It just means that you need to take a break. like giving your full-time attention to this full-time shit show is not actually a strategy for change.
Yeah.
So feel free to disengage for your own mental health.
Yes, absolutely. Take a tolerance break.
Yeah.
Take a little break, make it come back, get yourself right, touch grass, find a moment for you, and like just take some time away. You don't need to know every bad thing that's happening every moment of the time.
And it's still going to be here when you get back.
It will be.
So
but there'll even be more.
Yeah.
I promise.
So, you're finishing an album, you're working on whatever it is that you're working on, you're a creative person, you've got a painting you're working on. Like, so it's okay for you to turn that off and to focus on what it is that nourishes you. That's my take it or leave it advice for you for this week.
I love that. Get locked in on loving yourself.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So thank you all for joining us. We're here every single week. We will see you back here next week. And until then, do your best, y'all.
Yes.